I probably won't have to yell.
Patrick McKee is watching.
What's up, Patrick McKee? We are let some folks get up in this joint.
Paul Hatch.
What's up, fellow meat popsicles?
Rick Anderson. Vinny Bleakley.
So, I suppose if I just talk normal, the audio...
How's the volume sound to everybody out there?
I have the microphone on me, Kathy. You want me to ask?
They can hear me.
I know they can. Everybody can hear Kathy, of course. All right. How many people we got?
24.
Everybody think that's good enough? Should we go ahead and get started or what? Thumbs up and hearts if you're ready to roll. Unless you want me to wait for anybody else.
RJ Clockmaker is in the house.
In the house, my fellow big man. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. How many we got?
29.
Well, that will probably be good enough to start. Everybody else can come rolling in. So, first of all, thanks everybody for tuning in. This live feed today has to do with the new 2018 Hoyt XXL hunting bow with the Hyper ZT cam system on it. So I also have the last year's model, the Tatanka 100-yard Oryx Smashing XXL. One thing, I do have a new toy, and it is this OMP. That's fine. It's this OMP bow vise. This thing is the bomb. I tried a couple other ones and had bows tipping over. In order to hold them even close to this, the bow was so high I couldn't even reach it. So this OMP bow vise, major props to the folks over there at OMP for this bow vise. It is, from the ones that I tried, it is hands down the best one. It absolutely holds a bow however I want. So this XXL, as y'all can remember, this does have a prototype Prophecy on it from AAE. It's the new micro adjustable rest there. I do, however, bam, check that out. Show that to everybody. See how that looks. That is the new Prophecy from AAE. That is the new, that is the maturation of the DOA. I love this rest. I'll be going over some of the features of it today. I haven't even put it on the bow yet. So, I mean, the bow has nothing, no rest, no sight. It has nothing on it. I did throw on a loop because if you came to watch my videos to learn how to tie on a D-loop, I don't know what to tell you. You should probably go watch somebody else's, because that's not what I do. Well, I tie them on, but showing you guys how to tie on a D-loop, come on, there's 7 bajillion videos out there for that. So, first of all, before I get started, for those of you that have watched my live feeds before about bows, you kind of already understand this. For anybody new, here's the thing. If you're coming here for this bow build or this bow review thinking it's going to be just, this is the greatest, you know, oh my God, best ever, and all these different cliches, you're in the wrong fucking place. I'm going to be honest. I have no reason to not be honest. If you're one of those guys that watches the 7,000 bow reviews out there that are all 100% just nothing but love, peace, and chicken grease, and think that that's, you know, what it's about, then knock yourself out. I'm going to give honest feedback. And if history is any indication, not 100% of it's going to be positive. So if you're here thinking that it's just going to be a, you know, everything's the greatest since sliced bread and all this other stuff, wrong. So hopefully some of you that have been here before can maybe help me out if someone's like, oh my God. You can tell them to kick rocks before I do. But anyway, so first thing that I was going to do was kind of go over some of my first impressions of this bow. That is not always something that I do in regard to technology and stuff, because most of the time I don't have a direct descendant of that bow. In this case, I have last year's XXL. Now I have this year's XXL. And so I figured it would be a good idea for the people out there that are going to be using this bow to kind of be able to see some of the direct correlations. So first blush, when I pulled this thing out of the box, my first impression was the cams are look aggressive, which I like. That doesn't necessarily mean they are aggressive, but if you look at the DFX cam, it looked like just a big giant cam. It didn't really, there wasn't a whole lot of sex appeal to it, in my opinion. These cams, however, this Hyper ZT, it looks good. It looks aggressive. First thing out of my mind and my mouth when I looked at this cam was a cuss word, because Hoyt has went to Torx T15s for the modules. Okay, not a fan of the Torx. In case you couldn't pick up on that, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I don't know why they did that. I don't even have a set of them, some bitches here. I left them at home because they're rusted shut. So hopefully I'm not going to need to do anything on these, but you will need a Torx T15 if you're going to move these modules. Obviously there must have been a good reason for it, but I'm just not a fan of those. Doesn't really affect the bow in my opinion, but it's not like you're moving modules every 5 minutes. If you are, you probably have bigger problems. The next thing was, me personally, I loved the zero torque cable guard system that they had on there. I loved it. I thought that thing was the cat's meow. I had zero problems with it. I liked the relief that it offered at full draw. And so I'm a little shitty, to be honest, that it's not on here. That's not to say that this system's not going to be a good system. Once I get done testing, that may change. I'm not going to lie. I was personally a huge fan of the zero torque system that they introduced several years ago, and that was featured on the XXL. So I'm kind of disappointed to see that go. Doesn't mean the bow's going to be bad, but for me personally, I loved that system, and I'm bummed to see it go. This roller guard system looks stout. I don't see where it's going to have many failing points, so I do give them props on that. But like I said, I preferred that one, and so I'm a little bummed there. But it's certainly not going to influence my opinion of the bow moving forward. Obviously, the grip. This was one of the first things. Obviously, when you grab the bow, is the grip, and I have some mitts. They're not the largest hands in the world, but they're probably bigger than Donald Trump's. So, but the wooden grip on the Hoyts were always pretty ergonomically good for me at my size. So when I pulled out this and looked at it, I thought, well, they're probably trying to make the best of both worlds here, and I got to tell you, I like it. I like this grip. It's wide enough to give some stability when I get my mitt in there. I feel what they were trying to do, and I do think they accomplished it. Going off of both sides, you don't get any of the added pressure on either side of your hand from the larger wooden grip. So I am happy thus far with the grip. I will do some torque tuning stuff with it, not today, of course. And if I feel that there's a need for any updates on that, I will certainly let you know. Another thing you're going to notice is, obviously with new cam systems come new speed knocks. This cam system has more speed knocks than the old one did. Don't know as if it matters. I don't really care. It's just an observation. One thing that I do want to point out that is a huge bonus. This is super well thought out. I'm not sure why somebody didn't do it, I don't know, 50 years ago. And that is the split bus cable hangers. Historically, on the double XL last year, it has just your standard hangers like everything else does. You will notice, however, on this new one, Kathy, you can see how that holds up there on film. Just kind of show them the shape of those on both sides. So the new double XL has new hangers. And at first I thought, well, I don't know, what the purpose of these new hangers are. There was a hole. I thought maybe you can put a fall away rest cord through that, but that turned out to not be the case. The hole does not go all the way through. Thank you, baby. So here's the thing though, super impressed. All hangers are not created equal and neither are these. So the right side and the left side have different hanger depths. So what's the first thing we normally always do on our old bows with the regular hangers is we flip the right side. Flip the left side so that the right side has more torque if you're behind the bow. Because as a right-handed shooter, we always end up putting more twists in the right to get the thing to tune the way we want it. Well, somebody at Hoyt put their thinking cap on, and so these hangers are different depths. So no more instantly having to swap this left hanger because the left hanger is already deeper. So it's already given you that offset yoke load to help the top cam be a little bit more efficient. Now, efficient's not the right word. To help the top cam line up and tune how you want it with less twist having to be put into the string. So I can prevent some private messages on that faux pas. So, super impressed with those. Now, I would be remiss. I want to get a bag of those. I'm going to start running those on my tournament rigs too. So Evan Williams, if you're on here, get those coming. So one of the things that you will notice on your new double XL, or probably on the Redworks too, I would imagine. Us big boys weren't cool enough to get the Redworks logo, which is fine with me. Is that because this cam system does have the split bus cable at the bottom. It has the piece of plastic in the middle, so I am impressed because it still gives me the tuning ability on the top of the bus cable, comes down, and then it splits again into this yoke, which then goes to either side of the bottom cam, which I will address those cam tracks in this live feed as well. So, with that being said, as you look at this, there's a little piece of paper attached to that bottom thing. And basically what it says is, I'm not going to read it because I'll have to have Kathy hold it. But what it says is, you can't press this bow and add twists here, and you can't press this bow and just rotate one side of the split yoke around the other to put twist in this. That's not how it works. And that's not how it works because of this particular system down here. So the hangers that I was referring to play a role in adding and subtracting twists from your bus cable, in that as you add and subtract twists from your bus cable for timing, for any draw length modifications, anything you're going to do there, you have to do it individually on each side of the yoke. So if you want to put in a twist, you press the bow, put one twist in this side, one twist in this side, and the offset hanger depths actually allow you to maintain proper twists on both sides. If you look at mine from last year, one side's twisted up like you can't believe, and the other side's got about 3. So obviously it's something that is needed. So congratulations, on that, on the system in its entirety. I don't have anything necessarily against the split cables like this. I don't have any experience with them, but the fact that they allowed me to keep my split yoke on top is super important to me, because in these bows, about 80 to 85% of the load at full draw is on the bus cable. So that's the one that needs to hold up the most. In addition to this, on the top, they still gave you the two big green cam spacers. So if you do decide that you need to get funky with it and shift your top cam from side to side, front and back in three-wheel motion, you can certainly do so, which is normal. What's not normal in the industry, I should say, is that even though they went to this system on the bottom with the split bus, Hoyt still allowed you cam spacers on the bottom cam. So even though it has this system, which I don't necessarily, I'm not going to say that it is self-centering, but that's kind of the idea. What it does do is, even if for any reason, my fault, your fault, their fault, no one's fault, I can still shim this cam from side to side if I so choose. Thank you, Hoyt, for allowing me to keep that option. The bus cable on top. I know that there's a lot of people out there that just hate these additions to the cables and all that. I don't have an opinion. I don't care. I don't care. It doesn't bother me one way or another. I've never been screwed by them. It's whatever. It's a new bow. We'll figure it out. But the fact that Hoyt allowed me to maintain that tunability is super important to me. Of course, they do have some new dingle, jangle, dangle vibration things there. What they did add, similar to some of the other bows, is the bushing on the bottom for stabilization. I have a new one-sided gripper over here that will be going on there right after this live feed is done. It does have the string stop. It also does still incorporate Hoyt's kind of offset from the center line front bushing there. In looking at the pockets, at first I was a little bit like, man, they slimmed that thing down pretty good. But once I start to look at it, I realize it's still basically a one piece, which is important to me, because I want as few of moving components when it comes to the limb pocket as possible. So while this pocket and the rocker pin to me at first looked a little bit shaved down, like it might be a little bit too much material taken out of there, once I actually started looking around on it, I realized that actually the material is where it needs to be, and where they removed some of the material probably didn't need to be there in the first place. So I'm not super concerned about mass weight on this bow. One thing I am going to point out is going from the old bow. The old bow was mine is 37 inches axle to axle with an 8-inch brace height. This particular, the new one, is 35 1/4 axle to axle and has about 6 7/8 brace height. So those numbers are going to be what they're going to be. I don't necessarily think that the 8-inch brace height was necessary last year, but it is what it is. One thing to note, however, is even with the difference, even with the pretty severe reduction in axle to axle, the overall bow length cam to cam on this is almost 40 inches. So this new one is still tip to tip, end to end of the cams is still almost 40 inches, and last year's is 41 1/4. So they actually made up a little bit of ground there. So while it is shorter axle to axle with a little less brace height, overall still a 40-inch bow. For those of us that have 32-inch draw lengths, I'm not shooting a 32-inch bow. I'm just not doing it. Period. And so that is something that we always want to keep in mind. And so for me, I will certainly be doing a lot of testing with this bow. I will certainly be, putting it through its paces as soon as I get the opportunity. One of the things that I will be addressing today is these cam tracks. The cam tracks on this bottom cam obviously are wider, but the track on the outside actually goes in as the cam comes to full draw, whereas the one on the inside does not. I don't know if I've shown any of you this particular little tool over the years, because I didn't really think on the one cams it was pretty important to me, but on a lot of these it was easy to measure how the bow tracked from static to full draw as far as any cam movement went. But that is the Spot Hog laser. This laser, am I on there?
Yes.
All right, anyway. So this laser, what it does, and actually before I do that, for some of the stuff that I'm going to be doing here right quick, I am going to remove the string stop on this new bow so that I can kind of show you what this laser tool does. And so basically the way it works is it's offset. So the laser actually runs parallel with this surface. So when you put it on a cam, you can look up at the top and see exactly where your cam lean is. Normally we use an arrow for this because it's quicker and easier, but I never got rid of this tool because it's very, very important. It stays in all of my kits. Now that this system has this self-aligning type feature, I will be using this a lot more. I will be showing you on my Last Chance Easy Press draw board, we will be tracking with this laser how the cam aligns at static, and then we'll draw it back a few inches, check it out, and we'll take it all the way back to 32 inches and see what that cam is actually doing during that draw force. And so I'm not talking about the knock travel draw force, I'm talking about as it draws what that cam is doing this way. On last year's model, because it's a what I consider a hard system, it's pretty easy to tell. I mean, there's really not a bunch of movement that it can make unless there's a weak limb or something. There's not, of course, but so this Spot Hog system is going to be very, very slick. Let me come around here.
They buy the laser.
Spot Hog Archery, spothog.com, whatever their email address or whatever their website is. So, all right, babe, can you see down from here down to the other one? So basically you just take this, you put it on there.
Your hand is making everything blurry.
Can you see the laser on the other end?
Yes, you can see a little red dot.
Okay, so that red dot shows you what the cam alignment is on this particular bow at static. So as we draw this bow in the Last Chance Easy Press draw board, I'm going to utilize this laser to watch what that cam does. Going back to Hoyt leaving cam spacing ability in this bottom cam, that becomes very important to me, because if for some reason, I'm just preparing for the worst if it does happen, if for some reason there's any anomalies in how that cam comes back, I want to be able to mitigate it by spacing to make it track how I want. I don't foresee that, but I want to be prepared. And obviously, we use the arrows at brace height, but it's kind of hard when you get it drawn 25 inches to put an arrow on the bottom cam and see where it's at with the loop and all that. Whereas with this Spot Hog laser, you just slap it on the bottom cam. Don't put your fingers through there. Don't do anything like that. I don't want to get any emails about I stuck my hand in there with the Spot Hog tool and something happened. But what this tool will do is allow you just to put it on the bottom cam and visually look without having to get anywhere in between that loaded system. So I'll be going over that here in a minute. But this Spot Hog tool has been extremely valuable for me. Other than that, the looks of the bow, I like it. Like I said, I think that the more aggressive cam gives it a better stance. That's something that I think was needed. So on this particular bow, we are going to be installing the new AAE Prophecy. This one, obviously still in the box. This is new packaging, comes with your instructions. Inside the box comes with all your goodies at the bottom, your mounting bolt, which I'll probably need that. AAE does provide I call it the football. It goes on the downward cable. However, I attach mine for a little bit more hard use, a little bit more field replaceable if something happens. I can do that. This new Prophecy, here it is, folks. This is the first time most of you have seen this up close. Kathy can tell me if my distance is good.
It's good.
Okay, so this is the new Prophecy, of course. It does feature the incredibly successful Pro platform. The Pro platform for left and right and up and down adjustment that's been highly successful on the Freak Show, Pro Blade, Pro Drop. It's incredibly reliable. One of the additions this year, of course, has been a little bit smaller shape, a little bit more sexier design. Still has the cable guard on top. Still has the absolutely unbreakable, just incredibly tough launcher blade. These things are just retarded. The thing that I love about this, besides the micro adjust, of course, is the new activation knob. On this activation knob, you'll see that there's a line on the activation knob, and then on the body, there's actually 2 timing marks. I don't know if you guys can see those.
A little closer. Right there, perfect.
2 timing marks. All this cord has to do is bring this activation knob back around to where the timing mark on there comes close. It doesn't have to be the same place every time. It can go past it, it can stop short. As long as it's in this whole range, that will activate and trigger the mechanism. The reason that I like this rest is because it does not actuate the mechanism. So therefore it requires less tension on the cord. It requires, it's not susceptible to any changes in cable lengths. If you're in a antelope blind and it's 114 degrees, you're in your underwear, the limbs heat up, cables heat up, don't have any of that. If you are Aaron Snyder and you're belly crawling through British Columbia, through whatever kind of crap you got going on up there, and you rip your cord out, this is 100% field replaceable. So I'm going to go ahead and get this thing lined up on here, and then I'm going to show you real quick how I attach this Prophecy cord to my cable. Like I said, I don't choose to use the included boot or football just because I break stuff. Just to be honest with you. While I'm getting this tightened up, babe, are there any questions?
Dave Campbell asked, I have the Hoyt mount AAE Pro Drop, but I like the standard mount better. Does AAE offer the standard mount so I can change it?
No, but you can send that back to AAE and we can change it. I don't even know how to change those out. It's because of the bushings for the micro adjust and the some of the other features on there. It really requires it to be taken apart at the factory. But if that's something that you want, bro, send it back. We'll be happy to replace it for you. It doesn't cost very much whatsoever. So that is definitely something that we do. We actually do it quite often. So no, you can't do it, and neither can I, to be honest. But the amazing folks there in AAE's assembly room, they got that stuff on lockdown.
Have they, RJ Clock, have they changed the grip height compared to last year?
I haven't got that far, RJ. Travis, remind me of the grip height. I'm gonna finish showing you guys how I tie in this cord. And on the activation knob this year, one thing I forgot to mention is instead of having a burnt knot to hold it in there, it actually has a set screw. So the way that we tie this in is actually going to be even easier than it was before. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this, I got to cut the end off of this thing. I'm just going to take the end of this cord and I'm going to burn a knot. Now this particular Hoyt bow has, just looking at it, kind of already has a serving down about where I need it. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to burn a good giant knot on the end of that thing. Probably not touch that molten magma ball right there so I don't burn a hole through my finger in front of everybody, because I would laugh at me if I did that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to take the end of this ball and I'm just going to tie a half hitch through this, just like half of a loop. And the reason I'm able to do this is because of this new split bus cable at the bottom that Hoyt has. So literally, come over and show you guys. That felt good. So literally, all I did was just I just burnt a ball onto the end. I tied it 1/2 hitch with the cord on the bottom side so it pulls up against it. And it goes up against Hoyt's pre-existing serving right there. And that is now field replaceable. Anything happens, that is easily serviceable in the field. And then all I have to do is adjust this tension up here, draw the bow, and as long as those marks get to right there, we're ready to go. So what I'm going to do right now is, this bow's 70 pounds and I'm not warmed up, so hopefully this doesn't... Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this sharp knife away from my strings. Will be number one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the Allen wrench that fits the new activation knob. I'm going to loosen it up. I'm going to pull that cord through a little bit. Just going to pull that through, and I'm actually going to leave that loose right now. All right, going to pull that through some more.
Craig Scholl wants to know if you can take the grip off and show him if the riser has a machined grip still.
Remind me, yes. There we go. It pulled the cord through just enough to allow the there it is. I will now tighten that set screw back up. Cock my DOA, or excuse me, my prophecy. Come to full draw. The lines come and meet the lines, and your prophecy is now ready to tune. That's it. There's no other timing. That's it. That's all. The launcher arm does have 2 screws on it that will allow you to make big adjustments to get it close. Then you can start using the micro adjust as well. But that right there, folks, that's how easy and quick it is to set up a prophecy. So that's the bee's knees.
Gaius Carter wants to know what wrist that is.
The prophecy. Gaius, that's the new micro adjustable prophecy. I will be setting the center shot on this bow to 3/4. 3/4 of an inch. I'll be setting that close using the launcher arm itself, the launcher blade, I should say. And then after that, I will use the micro adjust to fine tune. Obviously, when I say fine tune, I don't mean bare shaft tune. I'm talking about line tuning. What's up? So I'm going to get that fairly close. All right, Travis, what did I remind you about earlier?
Grip height on the bows is the same as the last one.
Grip height, RJ clock. I don't know, let's look. Okay. 7. Alrighty. So we're looking at 13 and a half. 18 and a half. So it's going to be, on this one, it's pretty much just barely below it. So let me look on this one. Obviously, with this one being shorter, I would think that they would have incrementally. All right, so we're looking at
Is there a ship
35,
date on
so
the
that's
prophecy yet?
17 and a half. Yes, RJ, it looks like they did shift the grip down a little bit. So if I had to venture a guess, I would say maybe, let's see here, 35 and a quarter. So you're looking at 17 and 1/8. An inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch to an inch. That's what it looks like. I want to see something here. Holy shit. This boat holds like a rock. Now, I don't have anything on it, no stabilizers. But I've not drawn back many bare bows in my entire life that sit like that. That's damn impressive. But yes, RJ, apparently they did move the grip down a little bit. What was the one you asked, babe?
Is there a ship date? Brian Severino wants to know if there's a ship date yet on the prophecies.
As soon as AAE is off Christmas break, yes, they are shipping. They will be shipping immediately. All right. Did you ask me something about the handle?
Yeah, and it was
Yes.
asked, is there a machine grip underneath there?
Craig Scholl.
Oh.
Wanted to know if you could pull that off.
Oh. You can't pull it off easy, Craig. I can tell you that. From the looks, let me show Craig here. Craig, I'm going to go out on a limb and say yes, and here's why. Can you see right in here?
Yes.
It looks to me like, yes, there is a machined grip of some sort underneath this handle. Either I don't have enough lead in my pencil or I didn't eat my Wheaties, but I'm not strong enough to pull this handle off without the help of a tool, which I'm not going to do right now. But from the looks of it, Craig, yes, I think that there is a machined grip underneath there. So that's that. What?
Daryl Hunt says you need more weight training. You can't even pull off a grip.
I'm telling you. One thing that I will be adding, that I add to all of my bows, is a Linda Ochoa positive energy sticker. Think what you want. I don't really care. But these positive energy stickers from Linda, y'all know who Linda Ochoa Anderson is, right? Steve Anderson's better 3/4. Don't worry, my better 7/8 is running the camera, so I get it. But I'm going to show you this right now. I run these on my hunting bows. I run these on my target bows. And this is that good? This is the positive energy sticker from Linda Ochoa. They're only like $5. And it'll be the best $5 you've ever spent. Okay? Linda Ochoa, you can check her out on Instagram or Facebook. She does do mail. She'll mail them to you. But make sure you go out and get you a positive energy sticker. These are a must on every bow that I have. If that contact information isn't enough, you can call Linda on her cell phone at 1-555. Go on Facebook. I'm not giving you your cell phone number. Anyway, these positive energy stickers are the real deal, and I will be finding a place to put one on this particular bow. Normally, I put them on the shelf, but on these two bows, it has the rubber jobby on there, and I don't know what sort of adhesive Hoyt is using to stick these rubber on there, but it's probably not legal in America because it is incredibly sticky.
Someone said it's a double-sided.
Yeah. but I will be finding a place on this bow for the Linda Choa Positive Energy sticker. So with that being said, that's pretty much my first blush on the bow. What I am going to do right now is I'm going to put it in the drawboard, and I'm going to draw it back and see how our cams align. I don't know how exactly Kathy is going to facilitate this, but this is going to, whoops, that's not long enough at my draw length. Don't send me messages about my squeaky press. This Last Chance Easy Press has traveled more miles than I can even count. Anytime we drive anywhere, this Last Chance press comes with us. So, I'm gonna have a trailer hitch for it. But anyway, and yes, I know I have a powered electric one at home. I just haven't brought it down here because I don't know why. But anyway, these presses are the bomb, and this drawboard is an absolute must-have. So, pardon the noise. Okay, so right now, we already know what our cam looked like at brace height, and it was golden. So I'm going to drop back just a few inches here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this laser, I'm going to put it on the bottom. It's not changed. Still just on the inner side of the right top limb. That's pretty damn good. Just try not to shine that laser in my face. Draw it back a little bit more. What's that?
Good job.
Yeah. So I'm going to take this laser again. And once again, folks, if you're going to do something like this, don't put your hands and fingers through things. Just don't do it.
Are you gonna demonstrate what not to do?
No. Because you will end up on Tosh.0, because if I have the footage, I will submit it to Tosh.0. Just don't stick your fingers. Just don't. So I got the Spot Hog laser here. I'm gonna put it back on here. Holy crap. That's impressive. Okay. Let's say we're about 3/4 or more at full draw now. I didn't even check the timing on this yet, so let's put this here. Okay, it's still not, it's actually moved a little more to the inside. So as I have come to full draw, the cam is just ever so slightly turned like this, like this. It's literally only moved the laser less than 1/8 of an inch. That's super impressive. All right, let's bring this bad boy back to, let me look at my timing here. These are factory strings, by the way. My boy over there, Evan, put the orange on it. He got the Oompa Loompa rolling. And I'm probably going to need to put a twist or two in the old Yokestases, but the timing was within one twist, which is good enough for me. All right, so we're at full draw right now, and so what I'm going to do is I'm now going to, and this one will be a little bit trickier because of my draw length. Where are you at? You're on the ceiling. Wow. Well, it's hitting the cable guard right there, and wow. Okay, so I'm super impressed with that. I was expecting a little bit more deflection than that, to be honest. That is actually less deflection than the old one with the DFX cam. The DFX cam had about maybe 1/4 of an inch of laser movement, which isn't a lot, but and the only thing I can contribute it to is this split bus, but I don't see any deflection at all. So now what I'll do, rather than going back down and up, is now I will start on the top cam, and I'll check and see what our top cam, when I turn the laser on, the top cam is right on the edge of the limb, perfectly on the edge of the limb. So now what I'll do is I'll come here. This is one thing I love about this Last Chance Archery easy press draw board, is I can manipulate it however I want, and if I find myself in between clicks, I can just click it and then just actually use the press itself. So I back this off a little bit, get down here, it's the exact same. Damn. I didn't check this cam at full draw or at rest either, so that's not bad. All right, get her to about right there. Always make sure, if you're gonna do this, don't mess around. Make sure that the easy press draw board clicks into place. It does have a manual release on it, so it's pretty dummy proof, but my fault, your fault, no one's fault. Make sure it clicks, because you know your hands are going to be close, and I'd hate for you to have to go change your diaper. So that's about one laser width into the bottom cam, which is not a whole lot. And bring this down to brace height. And then we will check this on the proper side. Damn. Okay. Well, that is probably, I don't know about probably, that's pretty much the best cam tracking of any hunting bow I've ever seen. That might be better than my Prevail 40, I'm not gonna lie. I'll do the same thing on my Prevail 40, but it's not that good. So obviously this system on the bottom is doing its part. It's pretty impressive. I will have to, I wanted to check this thing at right here just to make sure. We got any questions, Ben?
No. Anybody have any questions?
All right. So one of the main reasons that I wanted to do this is because I want to show you this. A lot of times, at least it would seem that way. All right, how the hell am I going to show this? So this cam groove, this bus cable groove right here, curves in. It's got a pretty aggressive inside stroke to it, whereas the other one does not. So that was one of my only, oh, you got it? So this one's got a real aggressive turn to it.
Here we go.
Whereas the other side does not. So I wasn't concerned per se, but I can tell you that I was a little bit curious on whether that was going to affect, what's up? Yeah, go ahead.
RJ Clock, why can't you twist the floating yoke side to change cable length?
Why can't you do what now?
Why can't you twist the floating yoke side to change cable length?
That's a great question. Because Hoyt said not to. Allow me to read. I'm not saying it's not possible. In looking at it, you could technically, I suppose, do that. But I do see how it would potentially add undue stress on this floating grommet. I don't know what else, I don't know what they call that. I don't know what they call that. It's a floating black grommet donut thing. I don't know. There's probably a proper name for it. Is Evan Williams on here? Zach? Somebody? I don't know. There's probably a proper name, I just don't know what it is. Okay. Notice, do not add or remove any twists to the bottom yoke or to the bus cable main body. Timing should be adjusted by adding twists evenly to each side of the top yoke. Maximum of 8 twists per side. That kind of makes sense. Or by removing from the control cable. See owner's manual for more info. Yeah, so that kind of makes sense. I don't know all of the dynamics, RJ, with these grommets or whatever the hell they're called, but I could imagine if you were to add too many twists on this bottom part right here, that I think you could potentially adversely affect how the system's supposed to work. I don't necessarily have an opinion on it right now. I do, right? I mean, yeah, the top cam was behind. So I do have to add some twists to my yokes to get that timing back, or at least even. So I'll just do it the way Hoyt said, and we will go from there.
How many pounds is your bow?
71. I did check that out of the box because I don't want Hoyt trying to gyp me out of my gains. Gains.
A yoke puck.
Huh?
A yoke puck.
It's called a yoke puck?
That's what Dave Campbell says.
All right, Dave, thank you. It's called a yoke puck. I could make all kinds of jokes about that too, but I'm not gonna. So it's called a yoke puck. Okay. I do see that it does have obviously the Hoyt spots on the riser for their hardware quiver accessories. But that is that's pretty much the comparison. When I look at the two compared, I think I like the new limb pocket better than the old one, to be honest. The old one, all right, yep, sure enough, by God. All right, I'm gonna have to show you guys that. Now, mind you, I'm not hating on this old bow because I killed some shit with it, and this bow absolutely pounds. I mean, like, anyway, yeah. So, on the limb pocket on the old one, you can see that the limbs had capture on the inside, but the outside, so it was that pressure fit that they were talking about from last year. I had no problems with it. I had zero issues with that pocket, but just from a look at it and think about it standpoint, I did think that there could, even though I didn't have any issues. So when I look at this new pocket, it has capture on the outside and on the inside. So this is literally going to be, probably one of Hoyt's best limb pockets stayed on a hunting bow. As you can see, this does have the wider stance. But yeah, I'm pretty impressed with this pocket now that I actually get a chance to look at it. This bow came with the 85% mods on it. So I did write this down because I wouldn't remember it. And that is, the old bow was 73.4 pounds. Holding weight was 15.7. Holding weight of 15.7. This new bow is 71 pounds with a holding weight of 12.7 pounds. So it's going to be right in that range. As I'm talking to you guys, I'm still thinking in the back of my mind, this freaking bow holds, and I haven't even shot it. But this bow holds with nothing on it way better than that bow. Like, I don't know how to not embellish it to sound like a dipshit, but it's not even close. That bow holds and shoots great, fully rigged up, and was pretty good bare bow. This bow was shockingly stable with nothing on it. Now, obviously I have the AAE Prophecy rest on there. I will be running the new, probably running the new Trueball XL, what the hell's the name of that new site? Rheostat or Rio, RHEO, whatever it's called. Anyway, I'll probably be running one of those. I heard that they're going to be coming out with a tougher pin assembly for that. And so I talked to Brandon the other day, but they're not going to be out for a while. But I'm not hunting for a while, so we're going to be good there. So right now, what I'm going to do, let me find, hold on right there, babe. Let me find the, I got my target over here. I'm gonna launch a meat missile out of this. Where's my, oh, there it is. Got the old Easton Axis 260.
Are you going to do a video of target practice with it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I will do another video. Okay, that knocking point is not
Brian
good.
Swinburne wants to know when you're going to kill something with your new bow.
It depends.
When are we
when-
killing something with your new bow?
When are we? Well, I don't know. I heard that that you got another bison down there that's pretty cantankerous. So me and my workout buddy Kelvin and Kathy, we love that bison meat. So you know, if a thinning needs to happen, all right, that's close enough. I didn't set my knocking point or anything on this. One thing I am going to check before the end of this video, I'm just going to shoot this arrow right quick, grab a release, is I want to check cable clearance at full draw. I want to check how this new one measures at full draw to the inside clearance point of this cable rod system versus the zero torque. Because like I said, I was a huge fan of that. I'm bummed to see it go, but they must have got rid of it for a reason. So this system here must obviously have some good features. So I'm gonna blast one through here right quick. Not a whole lot of hand shock. I did recall on some chat rooms and some chat boards hearing something about someone said that these were loud. Mine's, well, I don't know about the double XL, but the Red Rocket ones, Redworks ones, shut up, Kathy. But this thing feels really good in the hand. I do like the grip. I mean, obviously I'm in a room with, so it's going to be a little bit louder in here, but it doesn't have a whole lot of hand shock in it. I'm still kind of tripping balls on how steady and how stable it feels in my hand. RJ, I don't know, until I get it fully set up, but really the only thing that I can attribute to that right now is the lower grip and the cam system. Will I be able to differentiate those and give you a definitive it's this or that? That I don't know. But let me shoot one more out of this, and then I want to measure. What's our time at, babe? Don't want to keep everybody up too late. I know that 1 hour. All right, we're good. So I'm going to shoot one more out of this. Obviously, you've seen me make 0 more adjustments to this prophecy, so the AAE Prophecy rest is doing its job already, and it literally, you saw, it takes like 3 minutes. If I do want to show you that, if you're not using this new cam system from Hoyt to where you can just run that half hitch up underneath there, you'll want to tie on a knock set in there, and I'll show you that as well. It's a smooth 71 pounds, let me tell you.
Is there a string stop?
Yes, but I don't have it on right now. All right, let's put the string stop on and we'll shoot a couple and see what kind of difference that makes. I don't feel a ton of vibration. I don't feel a bunch of anything right now, so that's pretty impressive. I mean, on hunting bows, yes, I will generally always run a string stop just because. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I always like to have at least a credit card's width between the string stop and the string at brace, simply because I like that little bit extra forgiveness in there. All right, let's see how this feels with the string stop on it. Curious to see how effective that string stop is now that you mention it. But yes, I will be doing a bear shaft tuning video and some other stuff with this bow as well, yes. Oh, that helps. That helps. That's impressive. Okay, so I want to measure our clearance at full draw with this cable rod system versus the other. Not because I shoot giant, humongoid feathers or vanes, or just personal preference, because I was such a fan of the old system. By the way, that grip feels pretty damn good. I'm not going to lie. I doubt I'm going to start running it on target bows, but I'm impressed. And once again, guess what I'm going to use to measure this? I'm going to use the old Spot Hog laser, because I can put it on the front of the riser and I can see. Okay, so on the riser, the Spot Hog laser just barely touches the bolt on the outside of the, I will show you here right quick. So on this bow, at full draw, there is very little, if any, deflection. So this bolt right here, can you see it?
No, you need to turn the bow more. There we go.
Okay, so that bolt is the only thing that really encroaches beyond the inside of the riser, which is very little change, if any at all. So that is obviously a good thing for this particular system. How much relief it's giving on the torque, I don't feel a lot of torque in the bow, and I think that probably is a good reason why they went away from the zero torque system, because with that cable rod or that cable split on this new cam system, I don't think they need it. So I sound like I'm whining now, because as much as I love this zero torque system, now that I think about it and having seen it and put hands on it, with this cam system with that split bus cable at the bottom, I don't think they need it. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure that they could use it. So I might have answered my own question, and I might just need to tell myself to shut up. Or you guys can. 6 of one, half dozen of the other. We got any other questions, babe?
Repeat my question before you answer it.
Repeat what question?
The one I'm going to tell you.
Oh.
Daryl Hunt wants to know, when is indoor tuning video coming?
Well, Daryl, it's funny you should mention that. My brown horneted friend. I'm going to have another live feed of a bow reveal, probably Friday or Saturday. And when I tell you that this bow is going to break the internet, I am not shitting you because you're my favorite turd. This bow that I'm gonna do a bow reveal on it's hotness. And so once I reveal that bow, I will probably immediately transition into some indoor tuning because it's indoor season. So very, very soon, very, very soon. So the first thing I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna put the old Spot Hog laser on here. And what do you know? So on the zero torque system, on the previous models, the inside bolt of the roller guard system hits the laser pretty much identically. Identically? Is that a word? Identically? I stutter, so I'm not a good choice for that. So anyway, this system, that bolt hits virtually the same clearance. So, which is going to tell me Yep. Okay. Well, I think what I was pontificating about earlier is going to come to fruition. Oh, damn. Yeah. So this zero torque guard is going to have probably 3/16 of an inch less clearance at full draw, which is not an issue because it gets out of the way, of course. But at brace height, they're virtually the same. So I would be curious to talk with Zach Kersall or Brian Gold about if indeed my speculation is correct that you basically can't use this zero torque guard system on the new XXL because of that cam system and that split yoke at the bottom. It makes total sense to me, so I'm going to operate on that assumption. I don't know that assumption to be 100% correct. So maybe all my whining about them going away from the zero torque guard system was just me being a whiner. It's been known to happen. So yeah, so far that's pretty much where I'm at with it. I am incredibly impressed. Let me one more thing I wanted to check for you guys. I know that right now, one of the biggest things going around right now is the whole, split limb, thicker limbs, everything's huger and this big, huge, wide stance, which is cool. But while we're at it, let's see. So that's a 3/4 inch limb. These are definitely not a 3/4 inch limb. Nope, 625. So yeah, so Hoyt did go to a wider limb, which is, going to be more stable, probably going to be more durable, and so that's pretty much going to be it for right now. Does anybody else have any questions regarding the Hoyt XXLs? Keep in mind, I will be doing literally from this point. The only thing I'm going to put on here is going to be a gripper, quick disconnect, single gripper on the back. I don't know what my stabilizers are going to be because I'm tripping balls on this thing holding so good. I will be putting the True Ball sight on there, and I will start bare shaft tuning and tuning right from there. So I'm not going to try to fake the funk on you guys. I'm not going to tune it and then take it apart and all that bullshit. No, I will start with a live feed of this bow, bare shaft and paper tuning right off the bat, and then we will just go from there. So there will be more to come with this bow. I'm not just going to come out here and do a song and a dance like this for you guys and not finish it up. So we will see this build through all the way to line tuning. What's up?
There's a few questions.
Okay, fire.
Brett Wagner. Any reason for the XXL versus the Carbon Ultra other than price?
What's your draw length? Draw length would be number one. I'm going to say this. Whoever makes carbon bows, probably not going to like it. I'm just not a Hoyt. That almost sounded way wrong. I'm just not a carbon fan. I've had a carbon bow. It just didn't it just wasn't, just maybe it was because it wasn't necessarily a production build, so it was kind of functified. But for me, the carbon boat's just not been for me. So, you know, if you have here's another thing, you don't see a turbo model in this. And I know that you're like, well, you're 32-inch draw. Why would you care? I wouldn't. And you're right. But if you are a 28 to 30 and you want as fast as if you want to turbo that sumbitch out, then the double XLs at this point is not going to be an option for you. Me personally, I'm just not with this. Look, for those of you that have been around, we've been through this 30-inch bow, this 32-inch bow thing. I'm not with that. I mean, that's my draw length, though. Doesn't allow me to be. But I want the most stable platform I can get my hands on. Period. End of story. And I'm sorry, I don't care what anybody says. String angle plays a role in that. If you are, if you are a Jesse Broadwater or a Levi Morgan or a Mike Slosher or not that Mike hunts a lot, but you get my point. You can get away with anything for a shot or two. But for me, at my draw length, I want the most stable platform I can get my hands on. So for you, it's really going to be a matter of what you're looking for. If you are looking for a turbo, balls to the wall, nitro fuel dragster, this bow's probably not for you. But if you want, from what I can tell right now, and look, I'm not going to blow smoke, it feels incredibly stable right now. It is super soft in the hand. I'm shocked. Once I get it loaded down and I step out to 100 yards, I hope that still holds true. And I won't bullshit you if it doesn't, but I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. That one did, and this thing's blowing that out of the water. So that's all I can tell you right there.
Aaron Kissel, in your opinion, should they have brought back the lower riser cage from last year, or it makes no difference?
I'm not an engineer. I don't play it on the radio, so I don't really care. I don't know. I don't have a preference. I could care less. I mean, the cage underneath the handle was pretty cool for holding extra sandwiches and stuff. But as far as functionality, I'm not an engineer, so I don't know. And as far as aesthetics go, as far as the look goes, I just don't care. What I care about is, well, they dry fire these things, 1,000 times, 1,500 times. So if the riser holds up to the dry fires, the riser holds up to the inherent torque of the system, the actual cams themselves, all of the rotational deflection is going to be a video that I deal with very, very, very soon. As long as the riser deals with that and the riser doesn't look like complete dog shit, I'm just not one of those guys that cares about it. I'm functionality, then sort of aesthetics. But as long as it's working the way it's intended to work and the way it's engineered, that's foremost to me. You could make a riser that was so ugly I'd tell you to pound sand, but I haven't seen one.
RJ Clock, do you think it's going to tune knock low? Did last year's tune knock low?
I forgot. Let's look. That's funny. My long draw buddy is always coming at me with the goodness. That's why I had this thing here. About a 16th low, RJ, if that, which was an improvement over previous models for me. But yes, I mean, I don't know how you measure. I mean, everybody measures knocking points different. Here's what I do. I put the bow square on and I go bottom of the bow square where I know the bottom of the arrow is, and then I go to the middle of where the knock's going to be. So on that bow, it's going to be a 16th low at best. A guy could probably make an argument for almost even, but I would fight for just below even.
Devin Buckner, if they had an option to a limb stop, would you possibly prefer that over a cable stop?
Nope. Never. Never, ever, never, never, never. I would immediately remove a limb stop.
Eric Hamilton.
Do you want to know why?
Oh,
Okay. I would immediately remove a limb stop.
sorry.
That's okay. Because of some things like Levi Morgan made a great video several months ago, or maybe earlier this year, talking about limb stops and how it affects not only your shot, but what kind of a shot you actually have to make. And so when you have a hard limb stop, if you're excited, if you start to pull, it starts to adversely affect other things. And here's what I'm talking about. Take this particular rig. It's 71 pounds. When I come to full draw with this bow, God, my string, Evan, my strings are dirty already. When I come to full draw with this bow, my bus cable is going to be, I don't know, 400 pounds or so of tension. The control cable will be not much more than it is now, and my string will be about 16, 15. Well, on this bow with 85% let off, it'll probably be less than that. The tension on my string at full draw will be so little that I can stick my finger in the peep and turn it, change my peep, and then take my finger back out. In a draw board, not while have it at full draw, in a draw board. So when you have a hard limb stop, when the string is that loose at full draw, it's easy to cause undue tension on there and have bad things happen. So I will never use a limb stop, period.
Eric Hamilton wants to know if you can go over the D-loop again. LOL.
Well played, my man. Well played.
Wyatt Mitchod. Looks like your string stop is upside down. Is there a reason for that?
The string stop is hitting perfectly in the middle, and it's in the middle of the serving. So I don't care whether it's flipped underneath or flipped under top. I just want it perfectly in the center of the string this way, and I want it as much in the center of the serving to protect the string as I can.
RJ Clark, can you explain rotational deflection?
I will briefly, RJ, but I will be doing a video on this using lasers and all kinds of cool stuff. But basically what rotational deflection is, and I'm not going to lie, dude, I'm super excited to test the rotational deflection on this bow, because what I saw using this Spot Hog laser to track those cams during the cycle was impressive. It was impressive. But if you look, you know what? Hold on. I just so happen to have Orange Crush right here. I know this was not a tournament bow live feed, but this will give you a better indication. I'm not going to draw this, by the way, Kathy.
No, it's not.
So, rotational deflection, like if you look, I don't know if you guys can see it, but look at how the arrow lines up with the stabilizer. Okay? That orientation is irrelevant right now. That's just my stabilizer goes out the front, and this is where my tune is. This is irrelevant. Let me look. Oh, that shit's pretty straight. Okay, but that's irrelevant. That's just what the tune is. However, when you come to full draw, that changes. The stabilizer will generally kick off to one side. For a right-handed shooter, the stabilizer usually kicks out to the left. So that measurement, that amount of movement, is called rotational deflection. So I'm going to take this arrow out so that my wife doesn't kill me. So imagine the arrow's still in here and it's along the arrow. I come to full draw like this. The stabilizer kicks out to the left, just because that's what happens. But the arrow does not. The arrow stays where it is. So the more deflection this way, that measurement is called rotational deflection. When your release goes click, what does your bow want to do? Your bow wants to go back to static. So that movement of the stabilizer and the system recovering from the rotational deflection can affect the tuning of the arrow, the forgiveness of the arrow. It can affect a lot of things. And the way to mitigate that is torque tuning. So rotational deflection is the measurement of the inherent left to right torque in the bow from static to full draw. And the only reason that it matters is because when you shoot the shot, it goes back to what it was. That is rotational deflection. And the reason that that my interest is so piqued with this new double XL cam system is what I saw checking that with the Spot Hog laser was the cams didn't show me a whole bunch of potential for rotational deflection, meaning this system could potentially, I'm not saying it is, but this system could potentially be mitigating a lot of that rotational deflection already. And I will certainly test that. I will be putting a laser on the end of an arrow. I will be putting a laser on the end of the stabilizer. And I will actually show you visually so you can see the lasers move apart. For those of you that were around when I did the first stabilizer company there, Bee Stinger, I actually created several products that would allow archers to measure that themselves. But that is what rotational deflection is, and it's super important because if your arrow rest is not in the proper location forward to back, that rotational deflection will manifest itself as a tuning issue, a left and right tuning issue. I've solved lots of left tears and right tears by moving the goddamn rest forward and back, because guess why? Their bow wasn't torque tuned, so as the rotational deflection was affecting the arrow coming out of the bow, I was able to move the arrow rest forward or back and get the bow torque tuned, and then that rotational deflection manifesting itself to the arrow didn't affect the tune. Simple enough. But that's the basics of it, but I will be doing an entire live feed just on that.
Frederick Franken. How does the 2018 compare to the 2017 on the balance? I felt the 2017 model was pretty top heavy. Just wanted to know what you thought.
You said the 2017 version was top heavy?
Yes.
Me personally, I feel like the 2017 version didn't balance near as well. As being now granted, I haven't put a sight on here, I haven't put a quiver on here. This handle on the 2018 is lower. But now we can start getting into spool rates and how much the top cam and the bottom cam are spooling. We can get into some next level shit. There's no doubt about it. We're not right now, but that is one thing that you have to keep in mind is lowering the handle does more than just how's the bow feel. It has to do with knock travel. It has to do with cam take-ups. It has to do with a lot of that stuff. So on the older double XL, I felt like I had to put in a lot more work than I was used to get a hunting bow to aim the way I wanted it. Not shoot, aim. Because for me, I'm an aimer. You're not shooting animals at 100 yards consistently without being able to aim. You're not just getting them on there and that's just not how it works. That video of me shooting that scimitar oryx at 100, you don't want to know what the biggest people, why did you aim so long? I don't know. It's what I do. And if he'd have moved before my shot went off, then he'd have had to walk. But he didn't. He got 600 grains of carbon through his heart. But anyway, so I feel like this bow has a lower handle, but I feel that it right now, bare bow, it balances at full draw and feels more stable in my hand than the 17. That could be the handle too. I'm not taking that away. It could be the handle. It could be the lower, not the handles. It could be this new grip. Excuse me. It could be the new grip. It could be the lowered handle. It could be the cam system. It's probably all three. Just is what it is. So, any other questions? All right, everybody. Thank you. I appreciate you tuning in. We will be, I'll be throwing out a teaser tomorrow about my next bow reveal, and it is going to be hot to death. But anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. Love you guys. You can send questions or whatever. I'm pretty much always available. So you guys have a great night. Thanks for tuning in, and be sure to share this video so everybody out there can check it out. And yes, I will be posting it on my YouTube. Thanks, everybody. Love, peace, and chicken grease.